Hello, friends, and welcome to the space where we discuss business, landscaping, beer, and everything in between. I'm your host, Heather Gerard from My Landscape Artist here in London, Ontario, Canada. And this is Season 2 of Hops and Hedges. Stay tuned after each episode for a message from our sponsor, ext.tech. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in.
And there we go. With me today, all the way from Plano, Texas, is Daniel McCaulley. So you're the founder of Ultimus Engineering. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Really great to have you on the show. I'm excited to hear about the engineering, the work that you do, a little bit of landscape architecture, mental health, business, coffee, books. We got a whole bunch of things kind of lined up. So
we'll do it all.
I love it. First and foremost, I mean, you started your business in 2021. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks. It was a wild time in the world, but no better time to start a business, I guess.
Absolutely. And that was me too. So I started mine in June of 2020. And
Perfect.
More just kind of sometimes the universe or God, whoever you will, kind of just points you in a direction and shakes you. It's like, listen, I've been giving you signs. Now the world is shut down and there's nothing else you can do except this thing. So
right.
Go
You better listen now.
Right? Like you can't ignore
Yep.
it. You can't ignore it. So for people who aren't familiar with you or your firm, can you talk about what it is, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're an engineering firm focused in the construction industry, offering three pillars of service. That's MEP, aquatics, and structural engineering. We're headquartered here in the north part of Texas, in Plano, Texas, part of the greater Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And we serve about 19 states across the country currently. As a team of super nerds, we like to be more than just that. So I use that term endearingly. I'm a licensed professional engineer in about 19 states. And really the idea behind this company was that I wanted to bring something more from the engineering community than just a place to go and talk technical shop, just more a place to get drawings or get your product out in the market. So as an engineer, I started my career actually in oil and gas. I was working for Halliburton and I was a staff engineer. And just even through college, really, I realized that engineers typically are not great communicators. And I think that's anybody in the technical field, but especially engineers. They're not great at communication. They're not great at building relationships, not talking personally, but business relationships.
Right.
They're so technically focused in their craft. It's just, give me what I need and stay out of my way and I'll give it to you when I'm done. And that's fine. That's fine. It really, really is. But just over time, and then especially when we got to that COVID era, and I think sort of just took a step back and realized like how important relationships and people and being in the same place as other folks was, I just really, over the years leading up to that, it was just kind of like, there's got to be a better way to engineer, right? And so I wanted to start this company with a focus on communication relationships first. And our mission statement has changed a little bit over the years, but today it exists that we create engineering solutions to build better communities. It's not better buildings. It's not bigger buildings. It's not better companies, which is what it was in the very beginning.
Right.
And the focus on the community aspect is really important because the project is not for the architect or the general contractor or the developer. It's those 400 families that are moving into that apartment complex. Right. It's the people who are going to that restaurant in the evening. It's the water park or splash pad where all those little kiddos get to come and play. Those are the people that these projects are for. And keeping that reminder internally with a company culture is super important because as engineers, especially in the construction industry, we can get so laser focused on just doing the work, just getting the drawings out the door. And just sort of that human aspect gets lost in the shuffle of these super ultra technical fields, and especially in construction. So anyway, so that's what we do, why we do it, who we do it for, and it's been a really cool journey along the way.
Very cool. It's so important, this idea of interconnectedness, right? I don't know how many times, not just the trades, right? I'm sure there's people too who are probably, retail comes to mind, right? It's like, I'm just selling pants. I'm just selling pants. It's like, yeah, but like there's so much, everybody needs pants. There's people in those pants. right?
That's right. Yeah.
Everything. So it's just to kind of take it a step further, right? And thinking about what's next. It's not just this product to get out. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So I really
Yep.
like what you're talking about with building stronger and better communities. Um, it actually made me think of something, and now my brain is totally stopped. That's the ADHD, right?
Yeah.
Which I think you also checked off in your thing. So welcome to
Yeah.
the podcast where sometimes the host just totally blanks out. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'll think of it before. I mean, later.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
all here for that.
yeah, community design. Darn it, I was totally going to think of something, or I did think of something. Wow. Okay, we are on an adventure, and I'm not even drinking beer today. So
Hey,
I've got I'm working on a chai tea.
okay,
So
yeah, excellent. Just the straight black coffee for me. Maybe we need a little more of that caffeine to get your day started, but that's okay.
yeah,
There's plenty of day left to recover from that.
yes, black
Uh,
coffee. Oof, I gotta have some cream in there. I
yeah,
just
they say it's an acquired taste, as a lot of people will say that beer is as well.
Yep,
Most people don't like their first Miller Lite or whatever it is, because no one starts with a classy beer. They start with just whatever you can get off the shelf or steal out of
yep.
your parents' fridge. But coffee, good coffee is, I don't even know that it really has to be an acquired taste. You can get a really good cup of coffee, and it can be sweet. It can have notes and tones of chocolate and some other things, and it
Yep.
doesn't have to just be the sugar. And kind of while I'm mentioning that, I know we're a little bit off topic, but do you know at least the legend of where coffee came from?
Do you know what? I don't. I mean, when I think of coffee, I think of like South America, right? And
Yeah,
that's where a lot of us in Colombia, when
sure.
I traveled to Colombia, that was still the best cup of coffee I've ever had. But
Absolutely. Colombia, Peru, Argentina, there's a lot of really good coffee that comes from South America.
yeah.
But legend has it, coffee is actually originated from Ethiopia. And
Oh,
this is way, 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 way back in ancient times.
yeah.
And the legend, anyway, is that there was a group of goat farmers, and they were witnessing that their goats were going out in the fields and eating these plants and berries, and these goats were just having the time of their lives. And they
I
were just
bet.
the happiest goats and bouncing around and just having this really great time. And as the goat farmers started to continue to witness this, they were like, you know what? I wonder if we had what they're having, would we do this? So they got these plants and the berries and everything, and they came back and they muddled them or mixed them with water, whatever it is they did. And that essentially was sort of the catalyst to create coffee as we know it today. So,
Huh.
cheers to Ethiopia. Thanks for that. If you ever get a chance
Yes.
to have Ethiopian coffee, it is absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of good coffee from all over the world now,
Yep.
and a lot of good ways to do it. But anyway, coffee originating from Ethiopia. So next time you have a trivia night and that comes up,
I love
uh,
that. Now I know.
hit that buzzer. Yeah, yeah, dial in.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Thank you to Ethiopia and the goats. So
For
where
sure.
what coffee do you get? Where do you bring it in from?
So the coffee in the office, I think, let's see, where does it? I think it's Guatemala, actually, is the blend that I typically drink
Yep.
in the office. But I've had the Ethiopian coffee before. There's a couple places that you can get it. But when I'm at home, I have the beans, I grind my beans. I'm not doing like the French press or the AeroPress. Like, I've done that before. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of cleanup.
It is
Like,
a lot of cleanup, the French press.
it is.
I'm too lazy. I want the coffee and I don't want to clean it. I just am
Yeah,
over
or
it.
the Chemex pour over, like that's great for the ultra purists. That's fine if that's really what you want to get into.
Yep.
I'm fine with the drip coffee in my little coffee maker. I will grind the fresh beans myself in the mornings.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, that's about as far as I'll take it. I've done all the other things. I've just realized that if I can have that extra 10 or 15 minutes back in my day, like I don't need to also do the other steps that comes with brewing it.
Right. It's so funny how much going a little off topic here, but talking about, the time that it takes to make a coffee and how that is a part of your like a morning ritual, right?
It can
And
be, yeah,
it's like 5 or 10 minutes where, okay, I'm not thinking, or maybe you are thinking about emails, because let's be honest, entrepreneurs, it doesn't stop,
sure. You
right?
don't turn it off.
But it's nice having that, okay, 5 minutes where now I'm going to grind the beans and then I'm going to make sure it's set up and I'm going to sit and I'm going to have my coffee. I've seen the mugs where it's but first coffee, right?
Sure.
or it's the one where as the coffee goes down, it's like up here is like shh, like not yet. Okay, now you
Yeah.
can talk.
Yeah, that's very much the way things work in our house too.
Yeah. I've my husband is a tea drinker. I'm usually a coffee drinker. And I would get one of those big espresso machines, honestly, if we both drink coffee and appreciated it.
Sure. Yeah, of
But
course.
no, no, we've got the good old Nespresso machine.
That's
So
right.
I don't
That
grind
gets
my
you
own
through.
beans, but it's still pretty good coffee. And I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
like that we recycle the pods. So that's
There
something
you
that
go. That's good too.
excited
Give
me
back a
about
little bit.
that. A little bit. Yeah, I feel a little less guilty. I still feel guilty, just less guilty.
Fair enough.
Um, so something I really like talking about on this show because I am so grateful to the mentors that I've had in my life, and I did not get to where I am without a lot of help. I
Sure.
did not get here by myself. It took a lot of hard work, but it took a heck of a lot more support.
Yep.
And so I love talking about mentorship. And I always like asking guests, who's somebody who comes to mind. And you mentioned Stacy Bullman of I'm Not Mad at You Consulting, and I love the
Yeah.
name. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Can you
It's
tell us a bit
fun.
about Stacy?
Yeah, she's first and foremost, I mean, she's a riot, as I think the name of her company would suggest. So Stacy is a, renowned marketing and sales leadership expert. Her background comes from a number of Fortune 100 companies where she's bought and sold to the likes of Pacific Tea Company and Walmart. And if it's a big client, if it's something to be sold, she sold it. Mars Company, whole nine yards.
Wow.
And probably about, probably it's maybe 8 or 9 years ago at this point, she decided to leave corporate America and decided she wanted to help other people achieve their dreams. So, being a Dallas native herself, she went to SMU, Southern Methodist University here in Dallas.
Hmm.
Started her own consulting firm, had an absolute world of success, and decided that she didn't need to live in the concrete jungle. And now she runs her consulting company from the beach in Tulum in Mexico. So good for her.
Yeah.
But when I was introduced to her, I guess about 5 years ago at this point, it was probably October of 2020. She just kind of sparked me with this knowledge of, Daniel, you've got this master's degree in mechanical engineering, you've got an MBA, you've run organizations all over the United States, like
Hmm.
you can run a company. But you may not know how to start a company, and you may not know all of the other things that are involved with running a company, like advertising and accounting and marketing and all these other things that's more so than just running an engineering organization.
Hmm.
And so from day one, she was basically like, look, I don't care what it is that you're selling. It could be engineering, it could be tennis shoes, it could be pants, it could be
Right.
macaroons in the mall. It's all about sales. And so framing my mind around, okay, if we're going to really start an organization, like we've got to think about this differently, because it doesn't matter how good of an engineer I am or how good of an engineer the people on our staff are. If you can't sell your product, you don't have anything to engineer, then the engineering competency doesn't really matter. And so that
Right.
was kind of an interesting shift, but just to have her as a sounding board, really to challenge my perceptions and my ideas of what I think makes a good engineering company, like we're more than that. And again, that kind of
Hmm.
ties back to how our mission statement has changed. We're not just creating solutions to build better companies, which is what the mission statement was early. It's creating engineering solutions specifically to build better communities. And that's just a broader outreach that we're not just an engineering firm. We're here to help. We're here to mentor. We love doing the training and building relationships within our community. And
Hmm.
just having someone who looks at things through a different lens has just been extremely instrumental, and honestly is, I don't say the only reason, but a really big piece of why we were able to grow, why we were able to expand, why we're still here almost 5 years later. And just having her kind of in our court. And she wasn't the only business consultant I talked to, but just her passion and her energy and just her personality and like the way that she thinks about things and the way she really challenges. It's not, you can hire a business consultant that's going to have good ideas, but sometimes like, well, I'm just the consultant and whatever the business owner says, because they're the one paying the bills.
Right.
Sometimes I have to ask myself, like, you don't let me do anything I want to do. Why am I even paying you?
Right.
But she's really good about that, and because she's thinking always 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead, and it may not be immediately obvious to me why we're doing certain things, but there's a bigger picture.
Right.
And so anyway, so just having her guidance and her leadership throughout this process, and she'll continue to be part of our team for as long as I can keep her around. But yeah, so she's been awesome. So just kind of a little plug to her. If you're an aspiring business owner, or even a business that's been in business that, thinks that maybe there could be a way to do something differently, or things aren't running perfectly. Big shout out to Stacy Bullman with I'm Not Mad at You. She'll get you set up, but be prepared, because she's a firecracker. She's here for it.
I love that. Yeah, I don't think I would want a business consultant who was not a firecracker. Like
Yeah,
that's a great selling point. It's like, no,
it
I want
is.
somebody who's gonna light a fire under me
Yep.
and make me chase them. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
they're going. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
Keep up.
yeah, love that. Thanks for the shout out. That's I've had some incredible people. A few people are coming to mind that just they push you, right? So it comes to mind actually. We were talking a little bit before we started recording about books, right? So I know that you had mentioned, but you mentioned the book Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. So let's
Yep.
talk about that. So for people who haven't read it, what's kind of the overarching theme of this book? What are your takeaways?
Yeah, the overarching theme is, as with anything, there's always ways to always room to grow. And you can start as a leader at level one. And level one leadership is basically like you're given a title and you're given a position, and you lead from the position of authority. So it's my job title says I'm the boss, and I'm the boss, so you do what I say. And that's fine. We all have to
Yep.
start somewhere. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But the idea is that there's room to grow. And so as you progress through the levels of leadership, you are doing different things. You're organizing people, you're helping people do things in different ways, and such that when you get to level 5, you are essentially helping create leaders that create other leaders.
Right.
And that's a really cool way to look at it, because you're not just leading people, but you're like kind of like I said repetitively, but you're leading people to lead other people. And there's lots of steps along the way. But it's a really cool journey to think about, okay, well, here I am today. And I think the cool thing about it is you never really know when you get to level 5 until you're already there, and you look back and you see some of the people you helped, and you see some of the other things that they're doing. So it's
Right.
like there's a pretty clear cut between level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm in this. And then when
Yep.
you're in level 4, you're like, I'm in it, I'm doing these great things, I'm running these organizations, like people are growing beneath me. And then either you get a phone call, or you see somebody achieve something, or something happens where you're like, hey, this is more than just the direct people that I'm helping.
Right.
And so it's not really like this pinnacle that you get to level 5 and you stop. And
Right.
that's where this kind of perpetual motion machine kind of takes over. But yeah, it's a really cool journey. It's a pretty easy read. There's lots of deliverables and action items, which I know is super important. We take out of things we listen to, podcasts, books we read. But it's a
Hmm.
really good, actionable, strategized, very good list for our technical listeners, people in the construction industry, architects, engineers. It's like, okay, what do I need to do? Give me the list of things, check the boxes.
Yeah.
Like everyone likes a good list, right? Cross this off. Okay, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Here's what I got to do to get to the next level. So it's a
Right.
really good book for anybody who appreciates essentially a to-do list, and very tangible things. You can say, yes, I achieved this today.
I was just looking because I've got a massive library here, and I know I have the book somewhere. I thought I could maybe just
Okay,
reach up and pull it, but it's somewhere in this library. But it is a great read, and I
sure.
too, um, I'm that technical mind where I want to check things off. I want to know and see that I'm progressing. Um, Sometimes we don't realize how much we've progressed, right? We're so busy just
Sure.
going, 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 and we're building that momentum. And then we need that time to kind of stop and look back and be like, oh, I did actually all those things. I just didn't check them off a list, so I didn't feel like I did,
Right.
right? So awesome, awesome book. The Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell, I would also highly recommend. And
For
I like
sure.
what you said too. And I mean, they say it in the book, but when you get to that level 5, you don't just stop there.
Right.
That it's a like a state of being. It's not
That's
an
right.
achievement. It's not something you
That's
just
right.
check, okay, yep, I did
That's
it. I guess
exactly
I
right.
I can relax now. No, no.
Hmm.
You've got to this, you've advanced to this sort of level in this state of being that now you can actually perpetuate it and keep it going.
For
So
sure.
very great book. So another book that we were talking about before we started recording is one that I'm working through right now called The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. I don't know if it's actually clear or not. No. Anyway, um, but it's this concept that I like it at the very beginning of the book. He says, I'm going through a country drive with my family, and we come to this field, and there's all these cows, and the whole scene looks so majestic. Like it's just beautiful. The sun's coming down the right way, the green fields, the fencing, everything's just beautiful. And then about an hour into the drive, we're still seeing cows, and they're a lot less impressive. Like once you see cows the first time, and yeah, it looks great, but after an hour of driving, it's like, okay, they're cows, right? But if you were to come over a hill and see a purple cow, now that's something that
Hmm.
you would remember and talk about. So it talks about, or the book talks about how, your product, you should aim to make it a purple cow. If you just make a
Interesting.
regular cow, everybody's seen a cow. Like,
Hmm.
what? They're gonna tell all their friends about, oh, well, they found this new kind of cow that looks like all the other cows. Like, no, that's not a story nobody wants to tell their friends about. But if you come across a purple cow, you're going to tell your neighbors, you're going to tell your family, you're going to tell your friends, right? So it's a very good, it's short book, but it's a very good one. So that's the one that I would recommend.
All right. And I guess that's focusing really on the importance of product differentiation. And does it talk about, I'm curious, and I haven't read it.
Hmm.
So we can sell products or we can sell services, but I think at the end of the day, we all have to differentiate. And so it doesn't matter if it's engineering services or landscape architecture,
Absolutely.
or you've got a new physical widget.
Yep.
That's that product differentiation that sort of expands across all of those different markets. And I assume the book kind of talks about that too.
Yeah. So they talk about both. So it's whether it's a
Okay.
service or a product, the idea
Hmm.
is that nobody is going to tell their friends how awesome you are if you're just a little bit better than the last engineer they worked with, or if you're
Sure.
just a little bit different than, the gardener you worked with last year. I mean, I'm not a
Right.
gardener, I'm a landscape designer, but uh, right, if you're just a little bit better or a little bit different, you're just another cow,
Yeah, I like
right?
that. Very good.
So
Well, I'll
yeah,
check that
it's
out.
a very good book and easy to tell your friends about, right? That's
Yeah,
how you
right.
spread the word. So
For sure. Yeah, very unique.
Something else that I wanted to talk to you about. So earlier on, you talked about how you've differentiated your firm to other engineering firms. And one of the
Mhm.
things that you mentioned on the pre-interview questionnaire was how in the industry, and I think this goes across many industries and professions, but you said specifically how many people in the industry complain about timeliness, and you guys have managed to overcome this, right? And make it a priority to get back to
Mhm.
clients, to complete tasks on time in a timely manner. So can you talk a little bit, how have you achieved this?
Yeah, that's a good question there. And there's a couple ways we do it. In the construction industry, especially, if we get a phone call and someone says, "Hey, how quickly can you do this?" And then it's like, "Well, when do you need it?" And they're like, "Gosh, I need it this week," and they kind of joke, "Oh, I need it yesterday." Literally you and everybody else.
Yeah,
Yesterday is not even necessarily an expedited project at this point.
no,
And we can't turn back the clock. We can obviously only do what we can do moving forward. But it's kind of become a joke now that it's like, if you need it tomorrow, take a number.
yeah,
Um, but what we do, there's a couple things. So first of all, you get into some of these larger engineering firms and you get assigned a project manager. Maybe there's a business development person. Maybe there's even a technical lead that may sit in project review meetings. And none of those three people are going to be the ones working on your project.
mm,
Maybe if it's a really massive project, maybe there's a team of engineers, and not to say that if you have 30 engineers working on a project that you're always going to communicate with all of them.
right,
But we make it a point that we put the engineer of record in direct contact with our clients.
Hmm.
whether it be the landscape architect, the GC, the developer, whomever it is, the person doing the drawings, the person sealing the drawings, they're going to be the ones in those meetings. Timeliness comes down to not just getting things done, but it's also not wasting time.
Right.
And if you're a team lead or project lead and you aren't in the weeds enough to really know what's going on, you sit in a meeting, you take notes, you pass that over to a staff engineer, they work on some stuff. Okay, well, there's already one branch of communication that when we play the telephone game, I can tell you one thing, you tell a friend, and you're already going to lose a good portion of that in translation.
Every time.
Especially in engineers, when we're not necessarily known for being the best communicators anyway. By the time that goes from that staff engineer back to the team lead, and that team lead comes back and sits in the meeting, they may not even looked at that drawing. They push that over to the client. The client says, well, you missed this, this, and this. And they're sitting there like, oh, well, I guess we'll take this back and look at it again. You've wasted 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why not take the person who's doing that work, put them in the meeting, let them answer those questions directly. And then again, that way there's nothing lost in translation. And so that's one thing that we focus on a lot. And you may think, well, that's taking time away from that engineer actually doing the work. And it's
Oh,
like,
no.
to a small degree, yes, that's true, but the value add for that is
Yeah.
immense.
There's
And
something to
not
say about preventative measures,
for
right?
sure.
You're not putting out
Yep.
fires because you are preventing that wasted time. You're preventing that miscommunication, and that
Yep.
is saving you time and money.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. And not every engineer is designed to sit in a review meeting with a client. And I know that, and a lot of engineers know that. When we build our teams, we focus really heavily on the recruitment process where we recruit and develop talent that does have that ability. And so I'm not just hiring people who are best suited. Hey, look, just hang out at home or sit in your cubicle or do whatever and don't interface. Like we are very strategic and very purposeful about the personalities and about the culture that we bring in, so they are well suited for success to have those kinds of conversations. And then the one other thing that we do, I think, is maybe a little bit different, is that when I started this company almost 5 years ago, I didn't have a staff of engineers, and I had to go out to the solopreneurs, people who had been working for themselves, other licensed professional engineers, and they would subcontract through us and do the work, which is great. As we built our team internally and we continue to grow, I still lean on those contracting engineers back from the very beginning who know our processes, know our clients, know our projects. A lot of them even have company emails. When we get busy, I'm not pushing out lead times. I'm not delaying things. I'm not making projects take longer than they have to. I'll pay a couple extra dollars to have that contractor step in and help fill the gaps while our internal teams are still growing. And we continue to keep lead times low. We keep response times high. And again, these people have been with us in a lot of cases longer than some of our full-time employees. So that's kind of a nice hybrid blend where we can flex our staff up and down. But I'm not just going down the street or going to classifieds trying to find engineers to fill gaps. These are people that we've curated and molded and really integrated really well within our corporate culture from the beginning. And that's kind of a nice way we supplement our internal resources to keep the deliverables high, keep the quality high, and keep those response times as fast as possible.
That's so cool how you guys have adapted and created this hybrid, as you put it, right? That you have full-time staff and you also have subcontractors. And this is actually how I run my business. So I don't have any staff, but I have an admin assistant and bookkeeper who is a contractor, right? I've got the skid steer team, I've got a stone team, I've got my planting team, and they all come in and then they go out and they know the system, they know the process after 5 years. And I wonder how much of that, I was thinking about this the other day, how you and I are kind of in the same, my business started 2020, yours started 2021. And because we've gone through COVID and then started our businesses right around that, well, during that time, we were already in this mindset where we're going to have to do whatever we need to do to get it done. There's no excuses. There's no, this is the way it is. You're going to have people who are working virtually. We're going to have to get comfortable with Zoom. We're going to have to get comfortable with time differences and time changes. And then we just created our businesses with that already in mind. And it wasn't even it was a hurdle, but we were just going through it the first time. It's like, well, this is how it has to be, so let's figure it
Sure.
out.
Yeah,
And
you had to build that. You didn't have to transition to it, which, changing
right.
anything as a corporation is difficult. But going through it the first time and setting things up the right way, yeah, there's a lot of value to that. And we've done some similar things. Like we have a full-blown ERP system, and we've got a lot of things that maybe a 5 to 10 employee company wouldn't traditionally have. But
Right.
we know that this is not where we stop. And I've been part of massive multi-billion dollar, several thousand employee companies that have transitioned softwares and brought on new accounting softwares or new ERPs or new CRMs. And every company is going to go through that. I'm not saying we'll never transition out of where we are today, but I've seen the immense headaches of trying to transition to something that you've put off for years and that you've known you should have done for a long time. And so I think we've been very proactive. Again, Stacy Pullman's been a big trigger behind this, but doing the things now that seem a little bit difficult and a little bit cumbersome that will make this infinitely easier down the road. And that applies to anybody starting a business, running a business, growing a business. Rip off the Band-Aid, just do it. Because to pull that Band-Aid off a year from now or 2 years from now is only going to be worse. And we all know that, but just do it. It just takes another reminder. Just do it. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're putting off, whatever it is that you're on your 400 sticky notes, like just get it done, because it's going to suck now, but it's going to suck a lot worse in 6 months or 6 years. So just be proactive about that. It's, whether it be teams or being comfortable with people working remote. We're headquartered here out of Texas. I've got one of our employees that heads our aquatics division. He's out of Denver. I only see him a handful of times a year. I'll be seeing him here in about 2 weeks. We're going to meet in Vegas. We got an international pool show in Vegas next week. So we'll be there for that. And then I'll be back up in Denver in February. But, you have the Teams calls, you have other virtual meetings, and you stay engaged in a number of ways. And it's just the way that the life and business is right now. So it's been good to get that started and kind of ease our way into it.
Right. And what you just said there is gold. If there's anybody listening right now and you're wondering what is the biggest takeaway that you need to do from this show, Daniel, it's exactly what you just said. Do what needs to get done. Stop putting things off. I mean, I also am a procrastinator. It's a bit of a sore spot, right?
Yep.
Or I'm a recovering
There you go.
procrastinator and perfectionist.
I like that.
There you go. Work in progress. But we know certain things are inevitable. And you can put it off as long as you want, but it'll probably be more difficult to do later. And it's probably going to hurt a heck of a lot more financially later. With the cost of everything, probably making a change now, if you think it's expensive now, imagine what it's going to be cost to do in 20 years.
Sure.
Or even 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a conversation my husband and I were just having yesterday, that here in Ontario, there's some, I would say, talk, and I don't think it's just here in Ontario, I think it's all over, but updating our recycling facilities is a very expensive thing that taxpayers maybe don't want to pay for. But we have one planet, and our dumps are filling up full of things we could be recycling, but our recycling facilities have not been upgraded in order to properly process these things. Well, do we think it's going to be easier 20 years from now? Do we think it's going to be less expensive to make that upgrade in 20 years? Like, let's get on it. Come on. Easier said than done, I know, but it's easier now for sure than it will be 20 years from now.
It is, yeah. And the hard part is too, and I think as small business owners, we have a little bit, it's easier to steer this ship, right, than it is these massive companies. And you get someone at a leadership level there, and they may not plan on being there in 20 years. And not everybody has the noble intrinsic, let's help the world be a better place in 20 years. They're like, well, my bottom line this year and my bonus is based on this. And if I spend $1 billion upgrading this facility today, that's going to impact my bottom line. So it's a great conversation. I wish it was easy to steer the multinational organizations as it is, our companies. And all we can do is keep fighting the good fight, do what we can individually. I know you mentioned recycling your Nespresso pods, and we try to do it. And I've got a 3-year-old at home, and he's trying to figure out the difference in recycling and trash. And I'll take out the
Yes.
piece of plastic and I'll put it over. The two bins look the same.
Yep.
But if I open the trash, throw away a banana peel or whatever, and there's a piece of plastic in there, like I'll dip it over to the other bucket. So
Bravo to you, sir.
Start them young.
You are an environmental warrior, and we need more of those.
Well,
right?
thank you. Doing it again.
Not for our lifetime, but for your
Yeah.
3-year-old. Your 3-year-old
Sure.
is going to be in his 30s and 40s one day.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know if, things would be not half bad when he gets there.
Yeah. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
And there's always more we can do, but yeah, I've got to start somewhere.
Yep. Awesome. So we're getting up to the end here. I don't want to take up too much of your time,
Sure.
but I know one thing you've mentioned too. So there's two more things I want to talk to you about and pick your brain about a little bit. Something we're seeing across the boards and I don't think I say the trades because that's what I'm familiar with, but that hiring is a hurdle, right? You did mention before you guys are very strategic in how you find people and the types of people you're looking for. And you're not alone. I don't know how many people guests I have on this podcast, and hiring, it seems to be a much bigger hurdle than the cost of goods right now, which is also a hurdle,
Sure.
right?
Right.
Cost of everything is going up. Cost of living is going up. The tariffs, there's all this stuff going on. But then hiring, again, since COVID, there seems to be this change in mindset where work-life balance, and that's a whole other podcast episode. I could get into what I actually think about work-life balance. But anyway, people are not going to settle anymore. COVID really made people think about, is this something that I want to do? Does this matter to me? Am I valued here? And if not, I'm gone.
Yep.
And that's it. Right? And it is, I don't think that's going to go away or get any better anytime soon.
No, I don't think it is. And to that same point, you kind of alluded to this, is it's not just about how many dollars you can throw at somebody. Maybe that gets them in the door, but it doesn't keep them around. And that's one thing that we really focus on, again, as a smaller organization. I can't compete with the total compensation package of a 5,000 employee, $3 billion company. I just can't.
Yep.
But what I can compete with is the company culture, is the opportunity of growth, is the flexibility to do your own thing. And what I mean by that is I'm a really firm proponent of hire good, smart people and get out of their way. I don't hire you.
Wait, can you say that again? Say that again for our listeners.
I will say it again.
You were sleeping? Listen to this.
Yeah, wake up, listen, business owners, leaders, coaches, mentors, anybody in charge or wanting to grow an organization, hire good, smart people and get out of their way. If you have to micromanage and if you have to feel like you're doing their job for them, don't hire that person because you're going to push them away. It's not the right person. If they can't do their job without you doing it for them, then find someone else. There's always time for leadership to step in. There's always time for people in executive positions to do their piece, but it's not doing the job for the employees.
Right.
And you run so many people off like that. And like you said, COVID, I think, really and made people take a step back. Engineers are notorious for this. We as a people, I'll kind of put quotes around that, as an engineering people, we're a prideful crew, and we get and like landscape architects and other design professionals, technical professionals, we get these certifications and these licenses, and it's like, hey, look, we sat through an 8-hour test or a 16-hour or a 24-hour test, however many multiple tests to get these certifications. Like, we kind of know what we're doing. So let us do that. If there's opportunities for coaching and guidance and mentorship, I'm not saying that don't do that. That's super important. But from a development and a retention standpoint, as leaders of organizations, we have to learn to get out of our people's way. And if they're not doing their job, help them do their job better, but don't do it for them. Micromanagement is everyone has their own opinions. Micromanagement is the worst possible management style. It's inefficient. It's annoying. It doesn't get stuff done. It makes people upset. It pushes people away. But that's always been a big thing. And, I know at some point this will change. Staying undefeated is, nobody stays undefeated forever. But to this day, I've never had anyone leave one of my teams because they felt like there was a better opportunity somewhere else.
That's awesome.
And as soon as I say that, that'll change. But the only
Don't
two
jinx
people,
it. Knock on wood.
don't jinx, right? Yeah, for sure. The only two people I've ever had leave one of my organizations have been because their spouses have taken jobs in other parts of the country.
Yep.
Can't do anything about that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back or to brag, but the reason why I think people have stayed is because I focus really heavily on development and people being fulfilled. And we talked about mentors earlier. I'll plug another mentor of mine, was my previous boss at my last company before I started this one. And he actually plucked me out of a different division. And when he sat me down in his office, kind of behind closed doors, he's like, look, I'm going to steal you. I want you part of my team. The only problem is, like, I don't have a job for you. I know I want you on my team. So let's create a job. You make up your own title, make up your own position, like whatever it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I need a couple things I need you to do, but effectively, like, I don't know if you're going to be here for 1 year or 50, but whatever you do, I want you to be set up for success for tomorrow and for 10 years from now. So give me a list of all the things that you want to do now and all the lists of things that you want to accomplish by the time you retire. And we will develop a position around helping you be successful here at this company and also successful as an individual.
Wow.
And not everybody's going to have an opportunity to do that, right? Like, it's not every company is set up to just bring people in and make up a role just because they're good people. But the point being, the mentorship and the leadership of that individual had such a profound impact on me that I lead teams like that. And it's like, look, yes, you're doing engineering, but what is it you want to do? Do you want to run a team? Do you want to be the technical expert? Is there a specific industry you want to get super involved with? And so giving people the ability to learn and grow and take on new challenges and maybe stumble along the way, that's fine. But yeah, super, super important to give people the flexibility to grow and learn and develop and sort of change and evolve as people and as engineers and as designers and whatever else it is that they're doing. That will help retention and will get people excited about accepting positions if that's the type of culture that you build teams around.
Right. Very well said. I couldn't have said better myself. Like, my previous boss, and I say my previous boss because now that I'm an entrepreneur, the last time I was employed, my boss there was fantastic and completely changed my mind about leadership versus management. And he's still with the company, and he really is an extraordinary leader and manager. And very similar he was just so supportive and how can we make you successful? Like, what do you want to do? What do you need? How can I support you so that you can support the team? But there was something, and I'm going to call you out on it, that you said during that little spiel there, which was gold. But you said that you're not patting yourself on the back, but yada, 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 yada. And I'm going to call you out because too often we do not celebrate ourselves. And so I will applaud you for that.
Thank you.
And a pat on the back because it's not easy to do, right? It's not easy to necessarily be that person or overcome that. Sometimes you have an employee or contractor say or do something, and your initial thought is you want to strangle them. And to not do that takes growth, right? You need to be in a certain kind of status mindset. I don't know what the word is to not do that. Yeah. So kudos to you. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate the fact that you did that. And lastly, I do want to end with, I always like to ask the guests their biggest achievement or success. And you said raising an unapologetically Christian family in today's culture. So can you tell us a little bit about your family and Yeah,
absolutely. So my wife and I, we met during COVID. It was actually right before I started this company. And then, so I met her it was just after the idea kind of came in my head. So we met in October of 2020, founded the company in April of 21. And she has been my biggest fan, my biggest supporter, everything since day one. And our faith journey had similar stories. So raised in the church, was in the youth group, played in the band, did all that, went off to college, did college things. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Had some relationships that went really, really south. And we both kind of had these parallel stories. And then we met and it was like, okay, this is the person that we've been waiting for. This is the person we're designed to be with. And really just headstrong, just feet first, like back into it. Yeah, we're in life groups and we're engaged and we're raising our son. He's not missed very many Sundays, even from a very young age. We've got another one on the way. And yeah, I think in all the things, and you mentioned work-life balance, and again, that's a separate conversation we can have.
Yeah, next time we do
yeah,
that.
yeah, but next time. But no, it's been super important. And so I prioritize my day in the order of faith, family, and work. And if I put those priorities in that order, everything works out at the end of the day. Not that there's not things that need to get done. Right. I'm working today. I'm not just hanging out with the family, and that's what I would love to do every day. But at some point, we've got to put food on the table. So there is some flexibility to that priority. But my wife wrote me a note. It was like the day the company started. She had a little post-it note that she said, so excited to be part of Ultimus Engineering, faith-based, family-owned firm. Like, you're going to kill it. I love you. Thank you so much. I took that and I took some packing tape and I stuck it right on top of my laptop.
Yeah.
And that has stayed with me. So it's like I'm sitting in meetings, board meetings, and my laptop's open and there's this like handwritten Sharpie post-it note that's on the back of my computer. And it's just that's what it's all about. That's who we're doing it for. So
I love that.
It's awesome.
Kudos to you again. Congratulations on all your successes in business and in personal life. Once again, this is Daniel McCaulley from the Ultimus Engineering firm in Plano, Texas. And Daniel, thank you again so much for coming on the show and just talking the shit with me.
It's been a pleasure, Heather. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you next time.
Take care.
That concludes this week's episode, hosted by me, Heather Gerard, at My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's some info about our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, your landscaping business needs modern solutions to keep up with the change. That's where EXT comes in. EXT is revolutionizing the way you manage projects and streamlines your landscaping, snow removal, and construction operations. Instead of juggling 5 different software packages, endless spreadsheets, losing track of leads, and missing out on potential sales, you could be leveraging AI job routing, client management, and financial insights with a modern mobile app that employees love to use. With EXT's flat rate pricing, you'll never be caught off guard. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech today to learn more. And for additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you. See you next week for another episode of Hops and Hedges.